Hey y'all, and welcome back. Today we are going to watch another slapped ham video and we're going to be reacting to it. It is titled The Creepy Footage All Your Friends Are Talking About. Well, I don't know about y'all, but most of my friends ain't talking about creepy footage or paranormal videos, but that's besides the point. How about we just continue on and maybe we can get our friends to start talking about that. How's it sound? All right, let's get started on it.
A disturbing video uploaded to TikTok by Viral Door Cams has left viewers shocked after a tense encounter was caught on a homeowner's doorbell camera. The footage, recorded at an undisclosed location during the night, shows a man approaching the property carrying what appears to be a sword, an axe, and a hammer. His movements suggest he is looking for something specific, prompting one viewer to speculate that he may have been searching for a hidden spare key. Fortunately, after a short period of searching, the man appears unable to find what he was looking for. He then leaves the property without making any attempt to enter the home. While it's unclear what the man's intentions were, the unsettling footage serves as a chilling reminder of the value of security cameras and to never leave spare keys hidden outside.
Now, I'm just wondering, do I need a roll for initiative right about now? Anyway, besides the point on that one, it's just, this is very strange to me. I mean, could be that he just came home from a festival, maybe a little slightly intoxicated and can't find a key, the spare key, and he don't want to wake up his parents. But, I don't know. I just still say, I'm kind of split 50-50 on these Ring doorbells and everything like that. For one, it's an excellent way to protect yourself in case something happens to you. Because you can always have the evidence. If you're not home and somebody breaks into your house, you can get a pretty good idea of who it is, and you can be able to consult the local law enforcement and everything. But this is just another reason that there's a possibility I don't like the Ring doorbells. It's just simply because of footage like this. This could possibly be he's a little hungover and he can't find his key and he's just walking around back to the next part of the house and everything. So, it could be popped up as like a viral video of some strange person trying to get into somebody's house. So you really never know, especially when the person's dressed like that. All I gotta say about it, he's got all that protection, including a mask, but he ain't even wearing it properly. I just don't understand it. If you're gonna wear a mask, wear it properly. It makes it a little bit easier if you think you're gonna get contaminated or you're gonna get somebody contaminated with whatever you got. Just wear the mask properly. You know what? Let's move on.
It's grab time!
A recent TikTok video posted by Bob White Quail has been puzzling viewers with a bizarre scene.
Why are they all not moving?
For a moment, it appears as though time itself has stopped.
It's happening right now. Babies?
While the initial impression is eerie, commenters quickly began offering more grounded explanations. Many pointed to a natural behavior known as a lion scan. This term refers to a defensive behavior observed in various bird species. In a lion scan, birds collectively pause movement to scan their surroundings for signs of danger. If a threat is detected, they can quickly decide whether to fly away or remain motionless to avoid drawing attention from predators.
What the fool? Why are they all not moving?
While it may not be evidence of a broken simulation as some commenters suggested, the quail's sudden stillness is a surprising display of evolved survival tactics.
It's happening right now. Babies?
Well, I I was hoping something like this wouldn't make it to a slapped ham compilation, but I'm just wondering, as with a person whose name on TikTok is Bob White Quail, why is she acting like this the first time she ever noticed the Bob Whites do that? Now, we had a bunch of them when I was growing up, when I was real little on the farm and everything. Now, this is a quintessential motion for quails. Run, stop, run, stop. It's just the way they are. They try to sense the air, vibrations, they check out with sight and everything just to ensure that nothing's gonna eat them. I mean, they little bitty things. And actually taste pretty good, but I digress. But yeah, this right here is just a simple response that most birds will do. I mean, it's not really a glitch in the matrix or they got frozen in time or anything like that. It's kind of funny that people would think that, but that's how birds are. I mean, they have to look, especially if there's food in an area and they're going to eat. They have to scan the surroundings before even trying to go down and bend the head, because they ain't going to be able to see and scan the whole area. I mean, if y'all notice sometimes too, birds anywhere, you could be in a major city where there's pigeons or sparrows or anything like that, or out on the farm with your chickens and everything. When there's feed on the floor, in case of the major cities, bread and everything like that, the people toss out to the birds. But you'll always notice one or two of them standing around looking, because they're keeping an eye out on everything, and they're the first responders, so to say, if something comes. Like for a classic example, okay, we got birds, they eat, and you got a couple of them watching out. All of a sudden, a cat comes by, and he's stalking out the birds, because that's what cats do. They're natural predators, and they are the ones that are looking around that look frozen. They're the first responders, so to say, in that situation. They alert everybody on it to get out before anything comes and attacks them. So it's just a simple evolutionary response that has allowed birds to be able to continue and thrive and evolve to what they are today. So the millions of years that has caused the birds from their first form to now in the evolutionary cycle, this is one of the main responses that has helped them survive throughout the millennia. Let's move on to the next one now, shall we?
A chilling video uploaded to TikTok by user Jenna Michaela has struck a nerve with viewers after capturing a frightening late-night encounter. The clip, captioned "Scared to the point that I'm shaking," appears to have been filmed by the uploader from inside her home and shows the front door area of her residence. According to the uploader, the unsettling encounter took place at 2 a.m. when an unknown person walked around her property, knocking and ringing the doorbell. She adds that she lives alone, heightening the fear factor for both her and those watching. One user urged her to take immediate action, writing, "Call the police ASAP." Another shared a personal tactic that worked for them in a similar situation. "My gosh, I'm so sorry, this happened to me before, and I played a 10-minute YouTube video of Rottweilers barking and they left." So what would you do if you were home alone at 2 a.m. and someone was knocking and ringing your doorbell? Let me know in the comments section below.
Y'all want to know what I would do if somebody was knocking on my door at 2 a.m.? Well, first off, I wouldn't be home, but that's besides the point. I'm a bit of a night owl, so yeah, I wouldn't be at home. Anyway, if it was me, I don't think that I would have followed the suggestion that one viewer was using, that they talked about having the Rottweilers barking for like 10 minutes straight. First off, as y'all already know, she has a dog in there and it is whining. It is crying. I mean, you could tell it was probably a medium-sized dog because it did sound that way. And that thing was scared. So, honestly, I would have done like the first viewer suggested and contact the police. I mean, I'm sorry, I would have got off of whatever I was doing and stopped recording that and just call 911. Simple as that. Second of all, if I really, really wanted to be devious and everything, y'all know I'm a metalhead. So I would sit there. Y'all gonna think this is funny, but it does work sometimes. I would put on the hardest doom metal or death metal album I know of. And some of the top 3 that actually come to mind for that would be Lorna Shore, Whitechapel, or Slaughter to Prevail. So I would have that blasting and just have maybe like Slaughter to Prevail, where Alex the Terrible sits there and does his alligator growl, and that sounds freaky on its own when you know it's coming. So I'm pretty sure that intruder, whoever's knocking on the door, might shit the pants if they sit there and hear that coming. I mean, that would be kind of funny to see, but anyway, I digress. This is a very serious situation, and I'm actually trying to make a little bit light of it because it is a bit unnerving. I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. When I was at the Ohio State Reformatory, when I went to Incarceration Festival, I was at a hotel, and it was the last night I was there sleeping, trying to rest up for my drive back home, and all of a sudden, like 3 o'clock in the morning, very similar situation of what this woman was having, and somebody started knocking on my hotel door. Believe me, that woke me up very, very quickly. I just stood still, just stayed right where I was in the bed. TV was on lightly, so I'm just sitting there trying to watch that and ignore it. I knew for a fact I already had everything locked up, plus the extra security measures for my hotel room door, and I just waited it out. I kept on hearing knocking, you know, it's going like that, and somebody, hello, and it startled me. I mean, of course, it was a female voice that was doing it, but I mean, it's unnerving, especially that late at night. And you don't know anybody in that hotel. I mean, I didn't have anybody with me. I went by myself. So why would somebody be knocking on my door in the middle of the night out of nowhere? I was just hoping maybe it was somebody who was drunk and was just at the wrong door or something like that. And I just waited it out. And eventually she did leave. It just scared the bejesus out of me, I'll tell you that much, though. You know what? I can understand the fear that this woman went through. And I know I was trying to make light of it earlier, but it's a situation that does happen to anybody, or could happen to anybody. So, you know, it's something to think about, and some ideas to have precautions set up in case of something like this happening, because you never know at the end of the day who is behind that door. Anyway, before we start going on a long, even more longer rant than what this is, let's move on to the next one, shall we?
A short but striking video uploaded to TikTok by PG Stories Official has left many viewers rubbing their eyes in disbelief.
Alright, so it's moving. Oh wait, when we start moving, it looks like it's still, and then you can tell it's moving again.
Titled "The Matrix is Broken," the clip shows a snowy landscape leading to a large body of water. However, as the camera operator begins to move, something unexpected happens.
You can tell it's moving again.
The motion of the water seems to suddenly freeze, For a few eerie seconds, it looks as though the lake or river has been paused mid-flow, creating the unsettling impression of a scene trapped in time.
Oh, wait, when we start moving, it looks like it's still, and then you can tell it's moving again.
In the comments, viewers were quick to offer explanations, and while most agreed it was some sort of optical illusion, there were slight variations in the theories. Whatever the exact mechanism, the video is a perfect reminder of how our eyes, and even cameras, can be deceived by timing, light, and motion.
Sorry, I had to laugh a little bit about this one right here. I mean, has this person never tried doing something like this when they were younger? I mean, this is some simple, basic physics of things, you know what I mean? I just, I don't understand how this person seems to have been a little bit older in life and just recently found that this type of situation can happen. It's not no glitch in the matrix. It's nothing where the universe is broken, you know? It's nothing like that at all. It's just something simple. I mean, you going in one direction, another thing's going in another direction. So obviously it's going to look at like it's a standstill because, of course, also your vehicle is moving a little bit faster than the currents that's going, especially since that looked like it was kind of almost a little bit chunked up with some ice and everything in it too. So of course it's going to be more of a sluggish moving sort of body of water because of the ice. Also, you know, you see that it is like the wind ripples and everything like that. So if you're moving in an opposite direction and on average probably was hitting maybe 20 miles an hour, so of course it's going to be you're moving faster than that, so of course it's going to look like you're standing still. So you know what, before I start going on to a long rant on this one, let's move on to the next one.
A strange and captivating video posted to TikTok by user Mysticism32 has been drawing in viewers with what some are calling undeniable proof of a glitch in the Matrix. The clip, reportedly filmed somewhere in China, shows a cat standing still in the middle of a street. The animal appears completely frozen as though paused mid-action. Onlookers begin to gather, whispering and filming the odd sight. Then a second cat approaches, but instead of behaving normally, this cat too appears to freeze completely, mirroring the first one's uncanny stillness. The comments section has been buzzing with theories. One user suggested the phenomenon was more than just coincidence, writing, "Cats live in between physical and spiritual realms, so it may sense something in the spiritual realm." Others were frustrated by the filming choices, with one viewer wondering why the person recording never turned the camera toward whatever the cats seemed to be staring at. Skeptics argue there could be a natural explanation, such as the cats being fixated on an unseen sound, scent, or vibration, possibly from underground or from a building nearby. Cats are known for their acute senses, which can make them appear entranced or locked on to something humans can't detect. Others lean toward the more mysterious, a coincidence too strange to be ignored, with both animals freezing in place like a scene caught in some sort of reality-bending glitch. Whether this is an example of cats' heightened senses at work, an odd quirk of animal behavior, or something more paranormal, it's undeniably an eerie and fascinating moment caught on camera.
I swear, some people just don't know animals, or they're just trying to make a viral video with this type of situation. It's a cat. Come on, for crying out loud. I have 2 sweet babies at home. Both of them are 3 years old, and they do the same thing. What they're doing is they're sensing something that we don't sense. Like, for example, I've had a couple of times where both of them just staring off in the distance, doing a little tail shake, just like that little tabby cat right there was doing. And I start looking. I'm looking. And there's like maybe a little bug or something crawling on the ground. They're sitting there stalking something. That's all it was. I guarantee you, if they showed what was across the street that cat and then that other cat was staring at, I guarantee you there was a pet store nearby and there was birds in that window and they were staring at that. Or maybe there was something in the, like maybe there was some garbage near across the street and then maybe there was a rat there. There was something there that caught that cat's attention. Simply put, that's all it was. I guarantee you, like I said, if they panned to the right, they would have seen what that cat was actually staring at. So let's move on. This is just getting a little bit ridiculous with these.
Residents of Fort Collins, Colorado and parts of South Dakota recently captured surprising footage of wild rabbits sporting black, sinuous growths, some resembling tentacles, others like antler shards, emerging from their heads. Social media responses ranged from alarm to fascination. Some dubbed them zombie bunnies straight out of a video game like The Last of Us. However, far from supernatural or a genetic mutation, experts confirm the culprit is the shop papillomavirus, SPV, a DNA virus affecting rabbits scientifically known as the cottontail rabbit papillomavirus, CRPV. SPV causes benign, but potentially disfiguring, keratinous tumors primarily around the rabbit's head, face, and neck. First identified in the 1930s by Dr. Richard E. Shope, this virus played a pivotal role in cancer research by demonstrating how viruses can induce tumor growth. An early example of viral oncogenesis. The tumors resemble dark quills, horns, or tentacles and often look alarming. However, virology and wildlife authorities stress that SPV is species-specific and poses no direct threat to humans, dogs, or other pets. Wildlife officials in Colorado advise the public to avoid interacting with or touching infected rabbits, but note that while outbreaks appear visually haunting, they have been documented regularly for decades. Interestingly, the bizarre phenomenon of horned rabbits captured in recent images echoes a much older and globally pervasive motif of mystical horned mammals, appearing repeatedly throughout human folklore. Long before the famed jackalope hopped into American myth, early European naturalists and storytellers described an equally uncanny creature, the Lepus cornutus, or horned hare. Believed to exist between the 16th and 18th centuries, these mythical mammals appeared in several scientific works and illustrated encyclopedias. Conrad Gessner included them in his Historiae Animalium, crediting them to regions like Saxony. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the legend of the jackalope took root in the deserts and plains of Wyoming during the 1930s. This jacked-up antelope rabbit was the brainchild of two Wyoming brothers who famously mounted deer antlers onto a rabbit carcass, creating a humorous and beloved roadside curiosity. Over time, the jackalope evolved into a staple of American tall tales, featured in gift shops, cartoons, songs, and even considered for official state mythology. While the rabbits seen in these pictures might seem like creatures from mythology or a horror story, the truth is deeply grounded in science and wildlife ecology. The horns are merely viral growths, still uncanny, but far less sinister when understood.
Finally, an explanation to pictures that was actually using logic. Now, I've done told y'all, I do believe in the paranormal, but there is also a lot of times when a simple scientific explanation will suffice. Case in point, this critter right here. Now, I know it's a rabbit. It's a cottontail rabbit to be exact. And this virus has been around for a very, very, very long time. And as he said, it does create like almost tentacle-like tumors. It's like a fungus on these animals. And of course, nobody else can get them. It's just in these cottontails and everything. And, it's interesting that, with science, with the advancement that we have in more of the microscopic realm of science, that we can be able to put a name and identify a lot of things that were not able to be identified hundreds of years ago. I mean, you imagine somebody in the 1500s or 1600s seeing a rabbit that looked like this, and I'm more than certain they would have thought that it was some sort of monster or something like that, some sort of hellhound type situation going on. But with the advancement of science, we are able to determine that, hey, no, this poor creature's got like a tumor, a growth on them, and it's it's not hurting them or anything. It's just unfortunately making them look like a monster. And I like how he brought up the fact of the jackalope, because I guarantee you that when they saw what was considered the jackalope back in the, I think, late 1800s, early 1900s, this is probably what they were seeing, was a poor little cottontail that had this virus, and it was causing these growths on them. And so it does create a monstrosity. I mean, viruses, they attack and mutate cells, so therefore it could be considered our modern day monsters. I mean, with, people who have these type of viruses and stuff that are like cancerous cells and things like that, it mutates and changes. And, this is what our modern day monster is. It's not the jackalope or anything else that's going to come and really get you. But we do have, basic scientific proof that a jackalope, who was once thought to be a cryptid and something that was mysterious and just otherworldly, is just something simple. I mean, I know, like I say, paranormal and cryptids are some of my favorite things to look into, and I absolutely enjoy this realm. But you have to have an open mind and look at all the possibilities surrounding an event. I mean, if you didn't personally witness it or personally have it happen to you, there's always a way to question something. And that's what I like doing, is just questioning certain things, pushing the boundaries a little bit, not saying that it's black or white, that there are gray in the realms of science and also the paranormal. And I like looking at it from both angles to see what would be the best solution to it. So, this was right here was just perfect. I love how Callan actually went into detail about this virus that does, it does harm cottontails. It's not really harming, mutating, I should say. Mutating, that would be a better word than harming. But, I just really appreciate the fact that he did go into that realm and actually bring up the science behind what is happening to these animals. Because, honestly, if somebody don't pay attention to news or scientific articles and things like that, they would think that something was monstrous about this hair and would never know that it's not anything wrong with it in a sense of demonic possession or anything like that, that it's just a regular run-of-the-mill rabbit that only has a little bit of a sickness going on to it, So, sorry, I'm done rambled on this a bit, because sometimes when things like this is shown, people automatically want to go to the strange and the mysterious when there is a logical explanation for it, scientifically speaking, and we have the scientific advancement to be able to determine what is wrong with this. So let's move on.
A puzzling TikTok from user Collector Dex is leaving viewers both amused and baffled. The clip shows rain-speckled pavement and droplets splashing in clear view, yet when the camera tilts up, there isn't any clouds directly overhead. One viewer joked, "Hope they fix the glitch before the next software update." Meteorologists explain it's a natural phenomenon called a sun shower, when wind carries raindrops from distant clouds into areas where the sky above is clear. It's common near mountains, coastlines, and regions with shifting wind patterns. So, whether it's quirky weather or a broken simulation, it's a moment that makes you look twice.
A sun shower is nothing. Now, what's the craziest thing to ever see is to be in a downpour where you can barely see 10 feet in front of you while you're driving down the road. And then all of a sudden you cross the county line and it's dry as a bone. Now, I've done had that happen to me. Now, that's a little bit more of a stranger phenomenon than a sun shower to me. Like I say, I grew up on a farm and spent most of my days outside, and I was used to it. Rain, shine, sun showers, it didn't matter. We still had work to do outside. Only when it was lightning did we have to go back in and wait it out for a little bit. But we worked in quite a bit of floods. So, this right here is just more of a laughable situation that they actually called it a rain glitch instead of a sun shower like it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you are, if you've been on this world for a bit of time, like I'm pretty certain a lot of y'all who are listening to me talk and rant about half of this stuff, y'all had seen a sun shower at least once in your life now, I would hope. Unless y'all just sit there inside all the time and just like listening to my voice and other people's voices. But that's besides the point. But it's just that something like this is a very simple explanation. Like he said, there may not be a cloud in the sky where you're at, but somewhere next door, maybe a town or two over, there could be a major storm, and there's gusts of wind and everything, and it just blows the rain particles over to you. So it's just easy, simple, scientific explanation. Now, what I'd like to know is how they got that one, like I told you before, that one that when I was driving down the road and it cut off right at the county line and was dry as a bone. Now, that's one I'd like to know. I mean, it's probably something with the way the cloud cut off and there's no wind that'll make it go over there. But it's still strange that it stopped right at the county line. Anyway, before I go on more with that, let's continue on.
On January 29th, 2025, a visitor to Doris Beach in the Scottish Highlands snapped a photo of what they described as a large dark mass moving beneath the still surface of Loch Ness. The weather that day was unusually perfect for a winter's day, calm and clear, providing the right conditions to capture the elusive sighting. The image was quickly submitted to the Loch Ness Centre in Drumnadrochit, where reactions from staff were significant. Nagina Ishak, the centre's general manager, called it particularly captivating, suggesting it could be one of the most important sightings of the year. The Loch Ness Centre reaffirmed its commitment to solving the mystery, noting previous collaborations with institutions like the University of Aberdeen and the search group Loch Ness Exploration. Alan McKenna of Loch Ness Exploration added encouragement to enthusiasts worldwide, urging them to share their own observations, whether through sonar, surface disturbances, or unusual behaviours in the loch. The sighting has spurred preparations for Quest 2025, a volunteer-led, tech-enhanced search running from May 22nd to 25th. Participants will employ tools like ROVs, sonar, and camera traps to seek evidence during the annual event. Furthermore, Loch Ness Centre tourism continues unabated, with the public invited to review Nessie reports via their website and field teams ready to rigorously analyse potential evidence. Despite the excitement, experts remain skeptical. Dr. Kat Bruce of Naturemetrics recently suggested that the creature is far more likely to be a very large eel, not a prehistoric monster. Similar explanations range from standing waves created by intersecting boat wakes to misidentifications or optical illusions. These plausible interpretations continue to challenge cryptozoological speculation. Is this 2025's most compelling Nessie evidence yet, or just another shadow in the depths of Loch Ness? The sighting remains officially recorded, but far from confirmed. As spring's enhanced searches approach, the loch's enduring enigma continues to invite curiosity and scientific scrutiny in equal measure.
And with this clip, we are at the end of our episode. Now, I really don't know what to make of this. It could be a log, it could be, as they said, a giant eel, it could even be a catfish for all I know. But it's really interesting to see, and just, the lure of Loch Ness, I mean, there's different places all over the world. Like, for example, Loch Ness has Nessie. Lake Champlain up in upstate New York, around between New Hampshire and upstate New York, right? There's Lake Champlain, where Champy is supposed to reside, and of course, down in Georgia, in the Altamaha River, is the legendary Altamaha. So, there's different. It's interesting to see too that these creatures, like the lore, the mythology of these creatures, have been around for centuries. And what makes it even more interesting and intriguing is the simple fact that these civilizations, during the time that these creatures were first supposedly documented, never had any communication with one another. It's only, if you think about it, in the history of humans, we have just recently been as interconnected as we are today with all around the world. So it's always intriguing to me that you find myths and legends all around the world that have very, very similar, just extremely similar, like, origin stories, I mean, you take Nessie, for example. That would be the Scottish Highlands and everything. So you would be looking at the Picts back in the day. Champy up in upstate New York, that would be Iroquois Nation or the Algonquins. And of course, down in Georgia, you would have more Creek, Seminole, and Muskogee. So it's all intriguing that these stories are so interrelated, yet none of them had any contact with one another. So, I mean, that's food for thought for y'all with this whole thing. But as for the picture itself, it's just very interesting. I mean, if to an untrained viewer, you would just simply say, oh, just a piece, like a wake or something from a boat and everything like that. But just that swell in general does look like something is coming up from the surface. That's not a boat wake, in my opinion. There's no swell from an extra boat and things like that. That's like a legitimate thing out there, whether it be a log or, like he said, a giant eel and things like that. We never will know. I mean, I know they constantly do sonar and everything like that in Loch Ness just to see if they can find anything, because it's just been it's almost ingrained into the Scottish heritage, the whole concept of Nessie and everything. So it would be very intriguing to find out what exactly might be there. Is it a hoax like the most famous Nessie picture that was taken, I think, in the, I think it was 40s or 50s. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to get back on with y'all at that time with that one. But I think y'all know which picture I'm talking about, where it looks like something surfaced, but it was actually like a float or something. Anyway, besides the point, I hope y'all really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed doing it for y'all. I'll just say like and subscribe. And you know what? If y'all want me to do anything different, I keep on saying this, but nobody seems to be taking. Are y'all a little bit shy on here or something? You know, just leave me a comment. See if there's anything else you want me to do. I do have some ideas of things that I want to kind of go out into the wild a little bit, so to say, and go to certain paranormal locations. I actually talked about this in my Ohio State Reformatory video. I'll have some ideas with like going out and looking in certain, haunted, supposedly haunted locations and taking video and things like that. So I can be able to give y'all a little bit more things that are a little bit more interesting. I think maybe because it's real life type situation and we're not sitting here reacting to things that could possibly be staged, because majority of them are staged. This would be more of a, because the editing I would do is nothing like DreamWorks, you know what I mean? It would just be simple cut here, cut there. But if I do find evidence, I would definitely give it to y'all, and I would not sit there and put anything in like some of these things are. So just let me know. Hit me up in the comments. And also take a look at the Ohio State Reformatory one. I mean, that one right there, it's not with the music or anything that was at incarceration. This actually has to do with a actual haunted location. So I think it's right down the alley of people who like to listen to my slapped hams reactions. So just, hit me up in the comments. See if there's anything extra y'all want me to do. Like I said, I can go take drives in the middle of the night to haunted locations, or I can go set up some things for during the daytime for haunted locations and take a look like that. Just let me know down in the comments below. And like I said, like and subscribe, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day.